I'm so excited that we have been able to enter this season full of hope. And, my greatest hope is that is what's been able to happen with you, that you have had hope. We're going to talk about a little bit today of what do we do when we don't feel that hope? What do we do when we've gone through what should have been the greatest time of year and we feel disappointed? And how do we deal with that disappointment? Well, that's what I'm going to take some time this morning to share with you. And before we do so, hey, good morning, everyone. Coming to you live from my own living room. It's great to be able to be with you this morning. And I just wanted to bring with you a couple words of encouragement this morning to give you some hope. We just went through one of the greatest seasons of the year, my favorite time of year. But the holidays have a way of magnifying things. One, the holidays can magnify the joy that's within us, but it can also at times magnify the reasons we have to be sad or disappointed. And so I wanted to come to you today to kind of just talk with you about some things that have been on my heart and some words of encouragement to encourage you of what to do when we are dealing with the feeling of disappointment. Our favorite topic, right? We're here to be real with each other. We're here to encourage each other. Every single one of us in this world faces disappointment. Maybe you're a child and you're disappointed because the present you were hoping Santa was going to bring didn't arrive this year. I know that's happened for me a couple times. Maybe you're disappointed because you were hoping to spend holidays with family you hadn't seen in a while. And because of our circumstances and this Corona season, it just wasn't able to happen. Or maybe at some point in the year you had to cancel a gigantic family vacation that you'd been saving for. Everybody's schedules got aligned, so it was going to work perfect. And then COVID dropped, and it had to be canceled. Maybe you're a single mother and you worked so hard all season long, and what you were able to provide still seemed like it was so little. And you hoped you were able to give your family more of a Christmas, and you just feel disappointed that you weren't able to do so. Or maybe there's some grandmother out there that this Christmas you were able to keep a smile on your face while holding back tears, missing the one that you've lived your whole life with, and they weren't able to be there this year with you. We've all experienced some form of disappointment from time to time, but the truth is that there are ways to deal with disappointment. And my hope is that the words I have to share with you, just 5 quick tips on what to do when disappointment comes, because it hits all of us in different ways. What do we do with disappointment? Well, number one, the first thing that we have to do sometimes is we simply have to adjust our expectations. You see, Philippians 4:12 says that I know both how to make do with little. This is Paul talking, and Paul was telling a group of people how to be content in all circumstances and situations, and how to sometimes simply adjust our expectations. Philippians 4:12 says, I know both how to make do with little, and I know how to make do with a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being content, whether well-fed or hungry, whether in abundance or need. Life is going to have its ups and downs. And we simply just need to learn, in a sense, to go with the flow and know that it's all going to work out. We're going to get to that point in a minute. But the second point is I want to encourage you that it's okay to be sad. God never expects us to put away certain feelings. Even God experiences grief and sadness. And it's okay for us to be sad and disappointed. It's what happens to us with this sadness and disappointment that's really the key. It's been said, and I just want to read the quote so I get it right. Mark Ballinger wrote these words. He said, "To be able to grieve deeply and rejoice relentlessly at the same time is the mark of Christian maturity." It's okay to be sad. There are reasons to be sad during these days. There are reasons to feel disappointed. But at the same time, let us learn to rejoice relentlessly, knowing that this will not end badly. Even if the worst were to happen, for those of us that know God, He is working all things together for good. And that's my next point. According to the book of Romans, we know all things, God works through them for good, for those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. So even in the negative things in life, even when we have done all that we could to make things work out just a certain way, even when they don't, God is working behind them to make things happen according to His glory. The scriptures tell us that He is on the throne. And even when things seem to be rough, even when things seem to be not going according to plan, God is still on the throne. He is still the King of Kings. He is still Lord of all. And He is reigning and working for His glory and our good. So, leads me to our next point. Our next point is that sometimes we need to learn to let go and let God. Stop holding on tight. Stop thinking that we have to have control of all things at all times. Some things are simply out of our control and our posture if we can learn to live a life with open hands. And instead of holding on tight. I'm kind of reminded of some Christmases, even some of our own when my daughters were 2 and 3 years old. I can remember sitting there and you'd give them that present and as a 2-year-old, they're so excited to have that toy. When you know you've got 10 more under the tree, sometimes they don't want to let go of that one. And I remember there being times where, okay, get the stuffed animal, get the Mickey Mouse away from her. And she cries, not knowing that we simply want to take that away so we can give her something better. That's how we sometimes are with God. There are things we want to hold on so tightly to, not realizing that God has 10 more gifts that He's waiting to give us if we would simply let go and let Him. And so, we need to start to learn to adjust our expectations and give up our high need for control and learn to go with the flow. There have been things this season that are tradition for my family. There have been times when we've had 23, 24 people sleeping in our house on Christmas Eve. We've had some big, awesome Christmas Eve celebrations. Everybody having their own pile of gifts, Santa showing up, and people coming into the room and seeing bikes and TVs and game systems and being surprised at what Santa brought and seeing the joy on 23 different people's faces. But you know what, this year, we couldn't do that. We had to celebrate with a smaller group of people. Even though they were family members, we just couldn't. We couldn't risk it. And there are some things that we've had to learn to just let go. And in those times of sometimes seeing God unfold His plan in a different way, brings us new perspective and new joy. We still had a wonderful Christmas. It was a smaller group. It was, instead of 23, it was only like 9 or 10 of us. And we got to have that special time with just a few people instead of the big crowd. And that's what it means. It means just having a posture of open hands and saying, God, whatever comes, whatever it is that we have to deal with, we're gonna see you in the middle of it. And we're gonna have joy for what we do have. And so the next point that I want to share with you before we go today is that in all times of disappointment and in suffering, we should have hope. That's what I started with, and that's what I want to end with. The book of Romans chapter 5 says this. It says, not only have we been saved and justified by Jesus Christ, by him giving up his life for us and giving us new life, not only has that happened, Jesus didn't just save you so that one day you're with him in heaven, and on this life, you may have suffering, but just deal with it because one day it'll be better. No. The scriptures go on to say, not only did he save you, but he has given us the ability to rejoice in our sufferings. Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance. And endurance produces character, and character produces hope. In all circumstances and situations, we have a God who loves us. We have a God who we can bring our true feelings to. We can be sad with him. We can be angry with him, knowing that he loves us. The scriptures tell us, cast all your anxieties, all your anxious thoughts, all your disappointment on him, because he cares for you. He loves you. The greatest gift of Christmas is that God is with us. And even though Jesus isn't physically here on earth, for those of us that know him as Savior and Lord, he is with us in our hearts. He is here to give us abundant life full of joy. Joy even in the midst of the storms of disappointment. And so I love you. And as we end this year, 2020, I pray that God gives us 2020 clarity, 2020 vision on what he has done in us and through us during this year. God has done so many amazing things through the difficulties of this season. And I pray that as we look at this past year, we prepare ourselves for what he has for us in 2021. God is always doing great things for his glory and our good. And I'm excited to see what he has for us in this new year. I love you. A couple things I want to let you know about before I let you go is we will be back in person at our new property this coming Sunday, January 3rd. I can't wait to see you there. And I will be there unless my daughter has her baby early. And, baby Peyton is on the way. Her due date is January 10th. But the doctors are saying she's seeming like she might come early. But even if I'm not there, you can be there, and our pastoral staff will be there. Our leadership will be there. And we look forward to having service with you. And in light of the holidays, there's no in-person gatherings this week. No youth group tonight at the property. So enjoy being family. Enjoy loving on one another. And I'm also excited to tell you that come January 10th, when we are resuming and continuing, after January 3rd we'll be live in person. January 10th we'll be live in person. But what is special about January 10th is our children's ministry returns that day on Sunday mornings. So it's important for you to register each week so that we stay safe. We aren't able to be at full capacity yet, and so our seats are limited, but we want you to not miss out. So go on and register now, even for January 3rd. And I don't know if you can register for the 10th yet, but take a look, hopehillchurch.org. Go down and pick a service to attend and register there. And then in closing, I want to thank you for being so faithful this year in your generosity and in your acts of tithing, giving of your time and your treasures and your talent. We've been able to be a blessing weekly to hundreds of people. We were able to bless more than 1,000 children this Christmas with toys, and we are just scratching the surface. God has so much more he wants us to do. Thank you for the way that you're giving and enabling us to be the hands and feet of Jesus during this season. And if you want to end 2020 strong with a year-end gift. All gifts given by December 31st are tax deductible and counted for this tax year. You can go online to hopehillchurch.org/give and give there. Give your tithes, give your offering. If you're feeling like God is leading you to give towards our property, we are going to be raising money to pay it off and to expand buildings there, and more about that in the new year as we celebrate our 10th year anniversary. We'll have a plan that we're going to be sharing with you. But if you want to close out 2020 strong with a year-end financial gift, I want to say thank you in advance for that. Thank you for the way you've been generous up till now. But if you go to hopehillchurch.org/give, you can give a year-end tax-deductible gift there. We love you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We have a reason to celebrate. We have all the reasons in the world to have hope. And I can't wait to see with you what God is going to do in you and through you. I love you all. Have a great year. Rest of your year as we end this year together. I'll see you soon. Love you.